What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the Brothers Talk About. My name is James, and today I'm going to be talking about Falcon Winter Soldier, Episode 4. This is going to open spoiler discussion, so if you haven't seen the episode, click off. But if you have, I'm going to be talking about all different things in this episode and what I thought about it. So, with the biggest thing kicking off with this episode, basically the highlight of it was the ending. The ending was absolutely crazy. But the beginning of the episode kind of started out with showing us more about Bucky and Wakanda and how his kind of like rehabilitation, coming back to his former self as Bucky, getting out of his Winter Soldier mental state and being healed from that. So it kind of starts out, kind of mirrors itself at the end with the beginning and the ending, talking about with Bucky's transformation from a broken man being restored into his true self. And then at the end of the episode with John, a man trying to be a hero then is broken. So it's kind of becoming a broken man. And it's kind of like it kind of mirrors itself in a way. But overall, I really like this episode. We got a lot more building on people's plot, on the different characters' plot points, and different cool things about that. I really liked Sam's character development in this episode, kind of learning more about who he is as a person. Like in the past iterations of Falcon, I was never a huge fan of him. He was pretty like an arrogant character that was kind of like felt like he was more about himself than really what he ever did on screen. But through this series, he's delving more deep into his character. We're learning more about him, kind of connecting with him more, which I like. And it was cool seeing the callback with Falcon, with Winter Soldier. Kind of how when we first get introduced to him, he is this kind of a counselor slash like therapy for war veterans, and I kind of used that in this episode, talking to the girl from the Flag Smashers, Kylie, I believe that's her name. And kind of trying to get her out of this thing, because obviously the last episode kind of ends off with her blowing up the building and really just being, well, like they call in this episode, a terrorist. They call her that in this episode, and kind of it's true. Her and her group, the Flag Smashers, are performing terrorist-like acts, and they're blowing up buildings and hurting innocent people. So that's why John wanted to go capture her in that one scene. That was kind of like, that was it. Kind of where the action started to pick up more.
For sure. Could have been a little bit better, but they executed it pretty well.
But we see that the Dora Milaje are kind of talking to Bucky. They're like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna take Zemo, but you have 8 hours to do whatever the heck you want to do. After that, we're coming to get him." And that ends up panning out later on in the episode for a big fight scene with John versus the Dora Milaje, which was a really interesting fight. I liked that fight a lot. It had a lot of just like cool combat with like the spears and stuff, and how Bucky and Sam were kind of watching them at first, and then after things started to get more aggressive and pick up, we see that then they kind of step in to make sure they basically just don't kill John Walker. But during the fight with Dora Milaje, Zemo escapes. He's free to presumably maybe, I don't know, possibly go start the Thunderbolts. There's a lot of rumors surrounding that right now with the Team Thunderbolts, which would be really cool to see, like the Red Hulk and all the different crew that they have on that team, which is kind of led by Zemo and Ross, Red Hulk. And that would be really cool to see Red Hulk on screen. But we kind of see then Bucky does that, the Dora Milaje warrior, I forget her name. He has a certain name in the episode, but she kind of like kind of has a fail safe on his arm, on Bucky's arm, since it came from Wakanda. It falls off, and he's like, "Oh crap!" Like he was kind of powerless at that point, like in shock. But then they after everyone realizes that Zemo escaped, everyone goes their separate ways. And then it kind of picks up again when they're going to track down the Flag Smashers. And oh wait, before I got to that, the Super Soldier Serum. I believe that there's that one scene when Zemo is like smashing on every single one of them, of the canisters, but John Walker is able to knock him out beforehand and takes a canister. I don't know if he would have taken it right away. I don't think he was going to. I think, again, talking about his character, his morals itself, he didn't take it right away. He talks to Battlestar about it, and he asks him, "What would you do if you had the opportunity to take the serum?" He's like, "Oh, I'd take it right away." And so that kind of, it's an interesting part too, on how he didn't just take it right away. He didn't just cock it back and just was done and had the power. He actually talked about and kind of second-guessed himself, and he didn't take it right away. It kind of picks up again when they're going to track down the Flag Smashers. But then this big fight breaks loose, and obviously you all know the sad passing, which not many people are talking about, but Battlestar dies in this big fight, which was a really good fight overall. I liked overall, I like the combat in this episode. It is violent, but I'll get to that after in a few minutes. But seeing how they kind of kill off his character was very shocking. I did not expect that at all. I heard like slight spoilers about it because I wasn't able to watch it right as it dropped at 12 a.m. But I heard something big happened in the episode. I didn't know what it was, so when that happened, I was very shocked. But he dies, and that's kind of where John Walker snaps, and rightfully so. I mean, he just saw a terrorist kill his best friend. Like, he was going to stop them, but with all the commotion going on, he kind of runs away, moves ahead of John, gets captured, and then overall, afterwards, ends up dying. And that's where John, again, he snaps, and he just starts, like, he's about to go kill the Flag Smasher, which Kylie is the one that punched him into the cement wall, or cylinder, whatever the heck it was, and basically just, he was dead at that point. She runs away. He's not able to get to her in time, but he jumps out the window. He ends up tracking down one of the Flag Smashers, and that's the biggest part of this episode, is how he, in all of his anger and fueled rage, kills this dude. And I know a lot of people don't like the violence of this show, but that was like a crazy, super shocking moment. Like, they didn't show too much, but obviously it's all implied that basically he decapitated the dude. And that was a crazy, intense moment. When he gets up, you see the blood on Cap's shield. That was crazy. But that was just like a shot that I think will kind of stay in the MCU forever. Because we see all these civilians, they're all recording him do this act of murder on this dude. And for all, they don't know who it is. They don't know the terrorist, but I think that will come up a lot in the MCU later on, and maybe the government could cover it up by talking about how, like, yeah, he was a terrorist, he killed people, and he just killed the soldier, which is Cap's best friend, Battlestar. So that could maybe have a way of kind of avoiding the whole topic of, like, maybe he might get fired from the role, meaning John Walker might get fired from being Captain America, and maybe that's how Sam gets the shield back. Not sure where that'll go. We have 2 episodes left, which I'm wicked excited for. But wow, that was just, again, crazy moment. But, one more thing down off the top is Sharon Carter. We see a moment with her. People are speculating that she could be the power broker. I'm really not sure. I guess it could make sense, and it would be an interesting twist. But I'm not like putting my money on it. Like, I wouldn't pick that as my choice. Like, I don't know that for sure. But it would make sense, and it would be pretty surprising overall. I think it would be cool. It would be cool. But I want to know what you guys saw of this episode. I really liked it a lot. I enjoyed it. I thought that ending was crazy, and I don't know where that will lead in these next 2 episodes. I know Chris will be back next week. He wasn't able to make it for this episode, but he'll be back. We both will be here next week discussing the last 2 episodes. Episode 5 next week. It's going to be crazy. Supposedly next week there's a big cameo. I don't know who it is. A lot of the big scoopers and leakers have been kind of teasing different things about it. It'd be crazy if it was Black Panther, but I don't really know if it would be Black Panther. Or some people are expecting it to be like, I forget some of the other theories, but I think that would be cool to see Black Panther. Or it could be just a random character, like just some random, maybe a big actor themselves playing a character. Don't really know, but that's going to be really interesting to see what that is next week. So stay tuned to the channel. Let me know what you guys thought down below in the comments. Like the video if you enjoyed this episode of Falcon Winter Soldier, and stay tuned for next week's video. So I'll catch you guys next time.